Welcome to segment 6. Our guest this evening is Ed Ronkowski, and we're going to talk a little bit about robots. And I saw some videos this past week. I shared them with Gretchen, and they're kind of freaky, frankly. They're kind of freaky. One of them, as I was telling Ed before the show, one of them is a robot that is become extremely good at navigating, moving around. It can changing environment up and down hills and all that. If you knock it over,
it walks upright like a human. It's not.
It doesn't look like a human, but it's a biped that walks like a human.
Right, and they've got it to balance and balancing on two legs is actually a fairly unique thing that we do, and it's very difficult. Sure. It took them a long time to program that.
And when he's beating the snot out of it with a hockey stick, the robot just
Well, he's not that rough with it, but he's trying to push it over, and he knocks a box out of its hands, and it doesn't fall, it doesn't lose its balance.
And so, my takeaway from this one is they can now build them that. I mean, you will die of old age before you will stop it from doing whatever it wants to do.
Right, whatever it's programmed to do,
right.
It's going to do.
Now the second one, I should have said Dad. The second one is a guy has invented a female robot that really looks like a woman. I mean, really seriously looks like a woman. And carries on a normal conversation. You can talk about whatever you want, and she learns from talking, and the more you talk to her, the more she learns stuff. She gets stuff off the internet, and she's talking about how I'm looking forward to working with people. I heard this, I heard that, I'd like to know more about it. You're looking at a female body that's mechanical with the brain of a child that's learning. And she's making judgments. Now, the chilling thing about that one was at the end, the guy jokingly says about how, you could kill off humanity, and she goes, okay, I'll kill off humanity.
What was the robot's name? Hillary?
Probably. It could be, yeah.
Could have been.
And then the last one that I want to point out is, what was it? Tay? Was it?
Tay.
Tay. So Microsoft, this was not a robot, but it was artificial intelligence. And they built this artificial intelligence with the ability to be on the internet, to absorb material and knowledge and interact and formulate opinions, right? Within 24 hours, this artificial intelligence embraced Nazism.
Well, they should have kept him from Trump speeches.
The point here is this, and this kind of freaks Gretchen out, but the point is...
No, completely.
They're building mechanical people with no morals that are maybe not indestructible, but certainly not easy to destroy, and are building their own thought process. And the comment I made to Gretchen in the car is this: if you think about this from just a pragmatic perspective, from a robot, if a robot has intelligence, which is what they're doing, if you think about it from their perspective, we're a pain in the neck. We're high maintenance. Human beings.
Right. We
why
need
we want
food and clothes and shelter, right. And we get sick, and they don't. So why not just get rid of us?
Why bother taking care of them? Let's just get rid of them. And people go, well, this is happening.
Well, right. And my thing is this. Okay, we've seen this in iRobot. We've seen this in Terminator. We've seen this in countless sci-fi movies. Just because it's sci-fi doesn't mean it wasn't predictive, doesn't mean these things couldn't happen. You've been warned, okay?
Absolutely.
You've seen the story play out. You know how this ends. Why are you still building this?
Now, well, why don't they just build them with an on-off switch?
Well,
my toaster has one.
You would think that, but here's what happens. We had an engineer, and I'm obviously not going to say names, but when I worked for a simulator manufacturer, we had an engineer, and he was a very brilliant guy. He was very, very good at what he did. So he built this simulator for, it was a foreign military sale thing for this other country. And the first time I sat down in the instructor station, I looked at it and I go, oh my God, it's got everything. And it's telling me what the outside temperature is, the inside temperature, all this. I go, what's all this stuff here for? He goes, why? And I go, nobody needs this. We don't need all this stuff. It's too complicated. Why did you do this? And he goes, because I could do it. That's the rationale of engineers. Engineers is, how far can we take this? The answer to your question, why are they doing it, is
Right.
because, like climbing
They
Mount
wanna see
Everest.
if they
It's
can,
there. I want
right.
to see if I can do
They
it.
want to see if they can.
And then after the thing kills you,
And I understand that, but at the same time, I don't understand that because I'm rational and I want other people to be rational and act in a rational manner, and it doesn't make any sense.
you're high maintenance. We have to get rid of you.
I am, it's true.
Yeah.
People have been saying that for years, let alone robots.
So, when you have a when you have a machine that, for lack of any better word, thinks, which is what they're doing, I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself, what's the definition of thinking? And to me, thinking is seeing, hearing, taking in information, processing it, putting it together in something that you didn't have before, and now you have something new. Is that not thinking?
Well, yeah, there's some theoretical tests for whether or not the machine can think. And Turing came
Right.
up with one
Alan
test, that if a human could talk to this machine for over an hour and not or some period of time and not realize he's talking to a robot, then it's thinking.
And basically, this woman.
That's what they're doing, yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, and
basically
the
this woman
AI,
could do that,
the AI project definitely
Yeah,
was.
but until these machines start reproducing, they all have the on-off switch.
See, but I think the problem is they don't have on-off switches.
They need power to run.
Well, I was gonna say, and I
Pull
think
the plug.
I think what he's saying applies to this as well. You know, if you can make an artificial intelligence or in a robot, and it can deduce we should just get rid of these humans. It can also deduce how to not be able to be turned off, kind of like
Right.
like Space Odyssey,
Machines.
like 2001 Space
Machines
Odyssey.
already have the ability to repair themselves and to build other machines.
Yes.
That already exists.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they already have drones right now that if the enemy interferes with the command, they go by their internal commands to finish the project and return.
Wait, what do we call that? The prime directive?
Yeah.
See, all this stuff, we read this stuff. I read this stuff when I was in high school, and it was science fiction. And as you've always said about Orwell,
It wasn't an instruction manual, it was a warning.
exactly.
And all this stuff is the same.
There's a movie that came out last year, La Machina, foreign film,
Oh, yeah.
about a computer genius company, and the guy built a female robot and brought in an expert from another company to determine whether or not this machine can think. And this machine came up with this elaborate plot to escape from this remote island. It's one of the most cerebral science fiction films you could see, and it's worth seeing.
Is it in English?
Yes.
Interesting. Here's the other little wrinkle in this program, and this is why it really does concern me. We have a guy now who has invented a way to upload information from the computer into your brain. In other words, direct input information into the human brain. Okay, now I forget what movie that was, but that was a movie. That's okay. I mean, that's an indoctrination. You can control people, like all that. But here's the part that really begins to bother me.
Well, that'll end all the Democratic majorities if you start making these people think.
Well, here's what bothers me.
Yeah, if we're the ones programming the computer.
There's another guy right now who has figured out how to download his brain into a computer. And he is making no bones about it. It means eternal life. That when he gets old and infirm, he can download his brain, all of his memory and everything into a
That was a
computer.
Johnny Depp movie.
Right. But this guy's doing it. He's actually figured out well, if you can figure out a way to upload into your brain, it's not a big stretch
I
before you
was going
figure
to
out
say
how to
download seems
Right.
easier,
Yeah,
actually.
and his first day, his wife's going to come over and pull the plug and erase the memory and go, ha, ha, ha.
Well, you can joke about it, but you just think about this. You get some whack job, okay, who can upload his brain into a robot, which is fundamentally indestructible. People are laughing about this, but I'm telling you, that's what people are doing. They're working on this stuff right now. We know the military, ours and others, have for a number of years now been very, very interested in fighting drones and fighting robots.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment I made the first time we heard about this a few months ago, the comment I made was, when you take the pain of battle off the battlefield, so that the people who are doing the fighting don't have any stake in the game, then the only ones left are the people who are trying to hide from it, and they're marginalized. Who cares about them if you kill all them off?
Right, and what I said was, I know you don't like superhero movies, but that is Iron Man. So here's yet another example of this was predicted. We know how it ends. It does not end well. If you can send robots in to be your soldiers, then there's no reason to ever stop fighting.
And everybody that talks about this, and I haven't heard the military guys, those drones, but everybody talks about all these other projects. They're all talking about, oh, they'll help you shop, and they'll clean your house for you, and you can sit and play cards with them, and they'll kill you. I mean, there's no logical reason for a robot to tolerate a high-maintenance human being.
Right. People have watched too much Jetsons.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
Wasn't
yeah.
it was Rosie, I think, was their robot.
They had a servant robot.
Yeah. The Johnny Depp movie is called Transcendence, where he uploads his body is dying,
Right.
and so he uploads his brain to a computer,
Exactly.
and then it takes over the world.
And what happens is he gets drunk on power.
Yeah. The computer, he's very, very smart, and his brain meshed with the computer has limitless power.
Right.
You just take one of maybe 3 of our 5,000 nuclear weapons in the United States and blow them up at a certain altitude over the United States, and the EMP pulse will wipe out every computer chip within range.
You know the interesting thing about that, though, Ed? You're right. The EMP pulse to talk about. But here's the interesting thing. With the internet the way it is, if I put something into this computer right here, right now, Facebook, they've got servers all over the world. You can wipe out the entire United States, and what I've said is still going to exist.
Oh, yeah.
So if you are uploading your brain, you're not going to be able to turn that off. It's not. There's no on-off switch to the internet. There's no on-off switch to any of this. Remember, they talked about this, and you can't do it. China tried to limit people.
If you've got a computer thinking to itself with no power to do anything, what's the problem? My computer runs when I walk away. The lights are flashing.
The power is everything is being connected to the grid. So a kid, and how many times have we seen this? How many times in the past year have we seen some nutball hacker in some Serbia, probably in the room next to Jim's, hacks into Bank America and gets everybody's number? I mean,
Right.
all of this stuff is become interconnected, and it's done it in a way. It's like an octopus. It's millions of arms. It's millions of
tentacles are
rivers.
everywhere.
Right. So you can totally destroy a country, and you don't change it. It's still there. And I'm not against the internet. God knows. But the point is, we're tinkering with stuff that, in aviation we have a thing called a safety management system. And the number one premise in a safety management system is, if I press this button or I do whatever this is it, number one, irrevocable? And if it is irrevocable, are the consequences negative?
Dave, when you go to bed tonight, I want you to think. Look at your computer. Is that computer coming to get me tonight? Am I going to wake up? Think it. Your computer may be after you, especially with this rant. If that computer is listening to your rant right now, you're in a heap of trouble.
I make my computer go jammy. so
Did you leave it on when you left? It's
Well,
probably listening.
He's going to find the computer's going to find it on the internet. It's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
And never once it gets out,
This is
somebody
going
listens
out
to it.
live. You do realize that, right?
All right, so here's the thing.
You've insulted your computer.
Okay,
is-
wrap it up.
Here's the thing. These two people are making fun of this, but you remember.
No, I'm not. I'm laughing, but it freaks the hell out of me, and I don't like it one bit. Down with the robots.
Fritz and I against Ronkowski. So when the day comes, 10 years, 15 years from now, that the robots are going through your neighborhood annihilating people, remember, we predicted
Remember
it.
who told you?
He's the one
watch
who
Iron Man and the
made fun of it.
Terminator and Transcendence and all those movies, and we should have known better.
Obama giving Iran the nuclear capacity to make nuclear weapons is a much bigger danger than your computer getting you tonight.
Today it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Today it is.
Today it is.
I'm not so sure about next week or
I
next
agree.
month. And I'm not sure about a lot of stuff. But that's segment 6 for the night. Thanks for listening.